Modern Warfare was another COD that I thought I would never play again from its lackluster content and how bad it was, but to my surprise, here we are 8 months later. If you don't know, back in the day, during the Black Ops 4 days and the early Modern Warfare days, I was mainly a COD YouTuber until Modern Warfare 2019 started to become just unplayable for me, as multiplayer was the only viable option to play and it was arguably one of the worst multiplayer experiences to this date. But without going on anymore, if you do find this video interesting, make sure you leave a like and subscribe for more. But today we're going over Modern Warfare 8 months later. So before I get into this, I will say that this video will be separated into two parts, multiplayer and Warzone. The reason I'm not going over campaign or Spec Ops is that those two modes are the least played and I have a video coming out later that will touch upon them. But without talking anymore, let's just get straight into this. Modern Warfare multiplayer back in the day was one of the worst experiences I have ever played, and to be honest, when I started getting back into this game, I thought I would never touch it again, but after playing a few games of multiplayer, I can easily say my overall opinions on the multiplayer has greatly improved. Some things I do remember, however, from my original review were that I hated the maps and how they worked, as they were some of the most noob-friendly maps I've ever seen. For example, the bridge map and Piccadilly, but ever since coming back to the game, I can easily say that most maps are still definitely noob-friendly, don't get me wrong, but they're much more playable and enjoyable than before, which was something I did not think I would personally see. And most of the really bad maps I remember, I barely even see in the map rotation. The worst one I get is Piccadilly, but other from that, they're mostly alright maps, and the bridge map, I don't know if they took it out or what, but I have not seen that map once, which is a blessing. And ever from launch, Infinity Ward has just been adding good maps that I think are alright. For example, Vacant, Rust, Shoe House, and Hard Hat. But other from maps constantly improving, my thoughts overall on how the gunplay and the sound design are some of the best in the series still holds to this day. I still believe that the sounds are some of the best in the series, and the way the guns shoot and work are still some of the best I've ever played in any COD. And with guns, the customization on them are also great as well. Now don't get me wrong, I still think that all of these guns don't need to be 60 some levels with all these attachments, but the gunsmith in this game is amazing and how everything works with it is great. Overall though, this multiplayer experience has improved so much over the past few months, with maps always being added, with all the new additions to the game, and even the CDL plus, which is basically the ranked mode. However, as much as I do praise the multiplayer experience now, don't let that confuse you. Modern Warfare multiplayer is still miles away from being one of the best experiences, and is still arguably one of my least favorite COD multiplayers to date. I say this because of several things that still plagues the multiplayer experience. For example, SBMM is still annoying to normal pubs, as if you do good one game, you're screwed for the next like 3, as you're going to be paired with tryhards, and the pacing of this multiplayer is still some of the slowest I've ever seen and is super boring, as for most games, if you're on a big map, you'll just be running around the whole time to eventually be killed by a camper. And yes, the campers are still a huge problem, but if you have somewhat of a brain, it's not hard to counter them, as you can kill campers pretty easily, as what I found out, most campers are really bad at this game, so they're pretty easy to kill. So don't get me wrong, this multiplayer is still not great by any means, but it has been constantly improving, so who knows where this game will be left off. The best way I could probably describe this is kind of like the World War II experience and how that went down, where it was horrid at the beginning of the game, but later into its life is pretty enjoyable and really improved on. So that's the best way I could really sum up this multiplayer experience. But without going on any more multiplayer, let's get straight into Warzone. Warzone is the battle royale that came out late in Modern Warfare's life cycle that has succeeded so well that the game is now advertised as Call of Duty Warzone Modern Warfare. This BR though is arguably one of the greatest BRs that I've played in years. This battle royale has improved on so many things compared to Blackout and is one of the greatest BRs just in general. Personally, one of my favorite features in this game mode is that if you die, you're never really out of the game versus every other BR, where in this one, if you die, you have the chance to win a 1v1 fight in the Gulag to get back into the game. Or if you lose, your team could just buy you back, which is something I really like, as you're never really out of the game, unlike every other BR where you have a set amount of time to get a card when your teammate dies and get that to a reboot point to actually get them back. And while on the topic of being able to buy people back, the buy stations in this game is something that is super cool as well. It not only enhances the game itself, but brilliantly brings COD's multiplayer formula into the battle royale. And you can buy other stuff including armor, which is basically shields and gas masks, so when you're in the storm, you have a short amount of time where you don't take any damage. So overall, the buy stations are just an amazing addition to the game. It makes it so much better. Other from this though, the map is something I do have to say is super annoying. Don't get me wrong, it's an alright map, just the building design and the size of the map for the way the game is played is awful, as most people are either camping, causing the game to be super long and boring, or people are just camping in buildings, and the way they're designed, they will see you before you see them. But other from that, that's really my only complaint of Warzone is the building design and the campers. Overall, it's just an amazing battle royale that is being very well received. Overall though, Modern Warfare after 8 months has improved its game so much that I almost want to take back all my negative points I made on the game before, back in the day. It almost feels like I'm playing a new game now that is fun to play in most scenarios and has just some of the best gameplay in the series. So will this game make a full 180 and become an amazing, or just stay as an improved game? Only time will have to tell. Other from this though, make sure you follow me on Twitch as I'm on that affiliate grind, and Twitter for daily bangers. Links are in the description below, but until then, see ya!